This program is brought to you by the Genesis Communications Network, a world leader in talk radio since 1998. Visit GCNlive.com today.
Broadcasting and streaming live all across America. This is Home Talk USA with Michael King, where we will discuss topics pertaining to your home with industry-leading experts. Michael King is a licensed general contractor with more than 30 years of experience in home improvements and the author of Contracting with the King. Join us this hour for our segment Invent America with your co-host, the inventor lady, Rita Crompton. Discover what's next in the home improvement industry and explore new products and innovations. Or if you have that next great big idea, learn what it takes to bring your invention to the world. As Michael King and Rita Crompton talk to America's inventors and innovators. Remember, the America of tomorrow is being invented today. We invite you to visit us at HomeTalkUSA.com. One of the best resources for home improvement information around today. Your best life begins with your best home, and there's no place like Home Talk. That's HomeTalkUSA.com. And now, we proudly present Invent America from the #1 home improvement radio program in the country, Home Talk USA, with your host, the Cajun contractor, Michael King, and his co-host, the inventor lady, Rita Crompton.
Yay! Welcome, everyone. I want to thank you for all of your support. I've been hearing from a lot of you on a lot of on my Twitter account, on my Facebook responses, and my emails on the Invent America part of our show of Home Talk USA. We talk to inventors. This is done in the second hour each week. As you know, we do broadcast live 3 hours each week from 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock Central Time on the Genesis Communication Radio Network at GCNlive.com. That's when you can catch us live. And then anytime after that, and you happen to listen to our show down in your area and your different parts of the country, and you hear it, that's our on-demand or our podcast or our where they record the show and just replay it. So, all right, but let me welcome my co-host. They call her the inventor lady herself. Miss Rita Crompton is my sidekick of the show, and she's the one that lines up all the inventors and entrepreneurs, and she explains the patent process, the legal process, and she's our guest, and she's our host now. Rita, how you doing?
I am fine. It is so much fun to always hear your voice. I love it. Well, and being able to get the word out there for our inventors.
We've been getting some good comments on this. Actually, a lot of people want to know how they can get on the show, and we're going to explain that at the end of the show, how they can get their get some free exposure. As you know, we don't charge our guests, right, Rita, to be on the show, so there's no fee.
That's right.
We're not a pay-to-play network. We're just looking for good products, good inventors, the products of the future. And
that's right.
And that all starts through what you do. So explain a little bit about the inventor lady herself, the services that you do, and that people could take advantage of.
So, I was thinking about this because I was writing my opening as I start to take over more and more, and I was thinking, I have been doing this for almost 20 years, which just seems like, basically a lifetime. But, you kind of fall into things as you're following God's path for you, and that's what I was doing. So when I met some folks and said, this is what we do, licensing for inventors became a pathway that, I could help inventors and work with them, give them, this is what you want to do next. These are some good service providers to call. And so for a lot of inventors, they may not decide they want to license. They may decide they want to be a startup. But once they know kind of the rules and the costs of going one way or the other, they can make better business decisions for themselves. And that's what I have been about for all these years, and that's what we're trying to share on Invent America.
And I tell you, it's a process, and you need to listen to this show because something happened a couple weeks ago where you had a inventor that went through the process, the patenting process, the molding process, the distribution process, and come to find out when they were getting ready to launch the product, it became a insurance liability issue because the insurance requirement of that particular product was astronomical. It was like $50 million product liability, something crazy like that.
I know. Wouldn't he have liked to have realized that before he filed a patent?
Yeah.
And sometimes when we're able to say, okay, find out these things first, because every industry has got an issue, it helps them navigate better. And sometimes it's to the point of saying, no, we're not going to do this, or we're going to do it this way, which is a better option before they've made a bunch of mistakes. And, today we're talking about the scoundrels out there. Heads up, everybody. We all know there are scoundrels everywhere in the inventing industry as well. So if we can help inventors, and I'll get an inventor that calls me and say, well, I did this, and it's like, I'm sorry, at this point, there's really nothing I can do for you. There's certain things we can fix, and then there's certain things we can't. The scoundrels, sometimes we can't fix them. And so that's what today's show is dedicated to. And while we can't name names, we can give parameters. It's like, if this happens, don't go there.
We want them red flags to start hitting, and that's the point. Yeah. Get them red flags to go up, Exactly. And there are red flags when you hear something and say, well, I didn't think it could possibly be true. If it sounds too good to be true, it's probably too good to be true. Yep.
Exactly. So that's what we're going to focus on today. And I want to let people know, it's like, if you've got a question, I am more than happy to help somebody walk through, that process of, is it a good guy or a bad guy? But we're going to do it on the phone or via emails or whatever. We're not going to, because sometimes it's a very simple question. I can ask someone and say, what about this? And they go, there you go. That's it right there.
Well, virtual conferencing and, what they call it on the iPhone, where you could talk and look at, what am I trying to say? The virtual. We do so much virtual, and I can send out links that we can have a call. So I sign a non-disclosure, non-compete, and somebody then can get on a call and say, this is what I've got, so I can see it. It always helps to see it. And I had to tell a gentleman last week, it's like, you're saying the right words, but when I read between the lines, this has been done a dozen different ways. Yeah.
Don't go there. Move on to your next idea. It's not going to happen the way you like.
Well, give your website out so they can get that information.
Inventorlady.com. It's real easy. Rita at Inventorlady.com is my email address, and Inventorlady.com is the website. And Michael, everything has been going so well. The website has gotten too big for its boundaries. It is being moved to a dedicated server this week. So if anybody does get on and say, wow, this is really slow, it's being moved. So by the time everybody gets onto it next week, it should be running very nicely.
Yeah, this happened to me like 3 times on my website. Then we had to get that security certificate, which presented problems too, because now the search engines code your UL to make sure that you're not a e-commerce site, because they want to separate the e-commerce sites from the information site. And I'm an information site. Well, Rita, we got to take a short break. That's Rita Crompton, my co-host, my sidekick, the inventor lady herself. Well, we got a great hour for you, so stay with us. We're going to have some upcoming inventors tell their story, talk about their products, talk about the process, right here on the Home Improvement Broadcasting Network. You're listening to the Invent America Show with Michael King and Rita Crompton. Always support your local independent hardware stores and garden centers, and let's pledge to hire a vet today. I'm the Cajun Man. Y'all come back now, you hear? Yay!
back to Home Talk USA with Michael King. Do you have questions about your next home improvement project or home repairs? Now you can chat with verified home repair and home improvement experts in just minutes. Get the help you need by visiting HomeTalkUSA.com. One of the best resources for home improvement information around today. Your best life begins with your best home, and there's no place like Home Talk. That's HomeTalkUSA.com. And now, back to Invent America from the #1 home improvement radio program in the country. Home Talk USA with your host, the Cajun contractor Michael King, and his co-host, the Inventor lady, Rita Crompton.
All right, welcome back to the show. This is the Invent America radio show here on the Genesis Communication Radio Network. Rita, you have another guest on, right?
I do. This is my good friend, George Peters. He is from the New England area. He is president of Invent New England, which is one of the oldest inventor organizations. But more importantly for this segment, I think, is the fact that he is the inventor of KettlePizza with his partner, Al Contarino. And I said that wrong, but you can fix it, George. But the big thing about KettlePizza is that it's all over the place. I mean, they were on The Price is Right with KettlePizza. They are in the White House with KettlePizza. So George is, I don't want to make it sound like you've been around forever, George, but you certainly have had some experiences in the inventing realm. So, over the years, you've seen and heard about lots of scoundrels. And so we're trying to help our inventors today avoid the scoundrelness of the inventing world. So give us some advice. How do our inventors watch out so that they can avoid the dollar disaster that frequently goes along with getting caught up in the scoundrel world?
Rita, thank you very much for the introduction, and to Michael King and Home Talk USA for the time, Invent America. I've been an independent inventor, Rita, for about 25 years. So I have seen a lot of different ways that people conduct business, and in our inventing world, there's very little regulation. So people that get excited that maybe have just been awarded a patent or want to try to go through the process, they're kind of set upon early by companies that, let's call them invention submission companies, that basically want to get you in the door. And as long as you can pay them, they'll keep coaching you. Once you can't pay them anymore, their work with you ends quite quickly. And the best way you can identify them if somebody asks you for money up front, other than a lawyer who, will require a retainer in most cases. But a lawyer, if they take your money or are unscrupulous in their behavior, there's a legal way that you can go after them because they're bound by a code of ethics and standards, unlike our industry, which isn't at this point. So that's the biggest red flag. If they ask you for money up front, many of the inventor organizations that I'm very proud to be part of around the country now have signed on to having a set of standards and ethics to have people, when they do find us online at our groups, we're bound to behave accordingly. We're not going to have our hand in your pocket. We'll be able to give you some good advice from experienced people in our organizations. And
you walked
people.
Yeah, you walked right into my next question, and that's that the joining a group. All right, now the Inventors Roundtable is virtual, and we meet twice a month, but we're a Gold Seal member of the United Inventors Association. New England, Invent New England is your group. It is up in the northern area of the Boston, Mass.
Right. Yeah.
Area. So there are groups in a lot of the major metropolitan areas have, an inventor group. You can always ask if they've got a gold seal on their website. But joining a group, all right, will frequently allow the new inventor to ask questions about, some of those scoundrels out there. So you can get a heads up before you've gone down that road. And I think that's a really big way for an inventor to find out and avoid the dollar disaster.
It is, because as recently as last summer, I met with a couple, and our office at New England Invents, when we turned it in from Invent New England into our 501c3, is at the University of Massachusetts Innovation Hub in Haverhill, Mass., which is about 30 miles north of Boston. And the group, the couple I met with, had been taken for about $40,000 from a nationwide group. And a couple weeks before that, I met with an inventor that was $20,000. And they were left with nothing except some pieces of paper and how to do this and how to do that. That's really.
You can hear the music playing. I don't mean to cut you off, George. I don't, but we got to go pay some bills, and we're going to wrap it up here. But I will make sure that your information is posted on the website, and we will have you back again. Thank you, my friend, so much.
All right, George Peters. Thank you, George. Rita. Wow, I'll tell you what, we got some great guests today. Well, a lot of. I guess it's the education information part of this show, huh?
That's right, it is.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you get educated and get the good information, and I tell you, we just don't want to see anybody get ripped off out there, and that's the purpose of having all these experts and all these legal minds, and just put you through a righteous path, All right, we take a short break. We're going to be wrapping up. We got a little bit more special announcement to make when we come back off a break.